Okay, first off, I have to apologize for the lateness of this review, but let me tell you, I have a very good reason for it. It's because this game is buggy as shit. And I don't mean necessarily gameplay specifically, I mean just in the act of trying to get a review made. Initially, this game was sent to me on PC, and it works great on PC. In fact, it is the best way to play this game is to play it on PC, and I'll get to why in a minute. There was just one problem. No matter what I did, I could not capture footage from the PC version. It would appear as a tiny little window up in the left corner of the screen. No matter how I tried to manipulate it, no matter what method I used to try to capture it, for whatever reason, it just wouldn't work with the PC version. So I messaged them and told them the problem that I was having. They didn't send me any kind of solution for that, because I know I'm not the only one that's had that problem. I can't be. Instead, they sent me the PS4 version. So, I downloaded the PS4 version, started playing it. And while it looked the same, had the same graphics, had the same music, etc., etc., the controls were another matter entirely. Now, before I get too far into that, let me just say real quick that this is a side-scrolling, almost kiddie-ish in appearance, Metroidvania-style adventure, almost RPG, because you can level up, you can get different equipment and use that to help you get through the game, and it all has this looks like it was drawn by a 4-year-old look to it. Now, some people really love that art style. I'm not a big fan of it. It's usually used as a way to try to perhaps recreate the 8-bit era, or in other cases it looks like they were maybe fans of Simon and the Land of Chalk drawings when they were a kid or something. It doesn't really do anything for me. I know other people out there love it, and that's fine, but it's not my cup of tea. Okay? One thing that's a definite problem here are the controls, and specifically, again, this is only for the PS4 version, which is what you're watching here. It's the jumping. I'm sorry. The jumping on the PS4 version has this horrible delay on it that you really have to spend a lot of time getting used to be able to do some of the more platformy areas of the game. And it has some cool boss fights. That goes without saying, but the jump, you don't spend the majority of the game fighting bosses. You spend the majority of the game navigating through the environment, and the jumping just kills it in the PS4 version. If you have the option, definitely play it on PC instead. It's a vastly superior experience control-wise. Graphics-wise, not so much. They're about the same. The music is done well, although it's not something that you're going to want to listen to in the car on the way home. It's just not. Same thing with the sound effects. They're perfectly good and passable. They're just nothing mind-blowingly original. I have to say, I don't really care for the story much either. I mean, it's already simplistic because, you know, you're just this little purple ball named Wuppo, which, you know, sounds like the sound I'd make when I was like 4 or 5 years old and accidentally walk in on my parents fucking. You know, Wuppo! I see the naughty! I see the naughty! But the main thing is the character himself. I mean, the game starts out with your main character basically being that asshole at the hotel that makes a nuisance of himself that nobody likes. And you get kicked out of the hotel. And that's how the game starts. You get kicked out and you got to find your way back, which causes you to be on this weird little side adventure, all trying to get back to the hotel that you got thrown out of to begin with because you're an asshole. That's the plot. It goes without saying that I got way farther in the PC version than I did in the PlayStation version because of the god-awful jumping delay. But overall, I enjoyed my time with the game. It's by far nowhere near the worst platformer or side-scrolling Metroidvania style game that I've ever played. By far, you know, there's several out there that play a lot worse than this one. But again, if you're going to play it and you're going to shell out what it's retailing for right now, get the PC version. Don't waste your time with the PS4 version, which is what you're seeing here. So I'm going to do a real weird thing, something that I don't normally do, and I'm going to have to give it 2 scores. The score for the PC version, solid 5 out of 7. And it would have been even a 5.5 or perhaps even a 6 out of 7 if it hadn't been for the fact that the story I don't care for and the characters just generally unlikable because, again, asshole. But for the PlayStation 4 version, I'm sorry. The jumping ruins it. The jumping absolutely ruined it for me. So I have to give the PlayStation 4 version a 3 out of 7.